So I like character work. That's one of my favorite things about writing. One of my favorite like tools to use is the different characters and building the characters. I'm definitely one of those people who like is actually very interested in those stories where no one even leaves the room. We just watch like two people have a breakdown. Like, love that. I'm also very interested in psychology and philosophy. So, it's hard to even talk about building the characters because it feels like who they are and what they want and their role in the plot are all so connected that it's hard to say what comes first. Certainly, people always ask if I have a favorite character, and the answer is no, on purpose. That even if I feel at moments that I'm relating more closely to one character or I'm enjoying writing one character more, then I sit down and try, like, okay, who is the next most interesting person? Because I want the audience to also be as interested. I think that the strength or the success of the book depends on how interested the audience is in every single perspective. So to make them equally interesting is probably the most work, and kind of it means that the book is less plot based, because in order to make all the characters interesting, I have to ask, well, who would be the next most interesting perspective here, as opposed to what would be the next most interesting plot beat. So it's a different structure that way. So I wrote this book. This is my 9th self-published book at a time when I wasn't sure that there was a space for me in traditional publishing. I'd had a lot of my manuscripts rejected and was starting to think maybe this isn't it for me. So it was kind of my last-ditch effort of like, I'm going to write something just for me. I'm not going to try to sell it. I'm not going to try to query it. I'm just going to write a trilogy, which is the longest thing I've ever written, that I had not even come close to at that time. And so to me, I wanted to write something that was very, the trilogy in fantasy is definitely like a thing, that it's one long story broken up into 3. So it was something I wanted to try structure-wise. And then I just wanted to make it everything that I thought was interesting. So, all the characters are like 100% sexually fluid. We're focused so much on what's going on in their heads. They're all really unreliable narrators. And so even though I'm talking about these big themes of stolen knowledge and who does knowledge belong to and how can power corrupt, we're doing it in a way that's almost like watching a reality TV show, where it's like, oh, but these characters are so interesting, and that's hopefully what keeps the reader interested. But yeah, at the time I thought it was just going to be me and maybe 5 other people that would read it and maybe like it. And it has been a huge surprise, obviously amazing. I think I happened to write the right book at the right time. And I'm just really, really grateful to all the social media communities and everyone who loved the book.